In a previous video, I showed how I removed the tire from this wheel, doing it my way. Now, it may or may not work for you, but it worked well for me. So in this video, I'm going to show how to put the tire on the wheel. A couple things that you should note is you need to clean the bead contact area of your wheel just to make sure there's no nicks or anything like that that would keep the tire from sealing on there. The second thing is, when you go to put the tire on, there's an arrow on the tire that shows the direction of rotation it was designed. In this case, my tire goes onto this wheel just like I have it positioned here. So the idea is to get the bead of the tire, which is this section here, the intersection of the tire, into the center section of the wheel. That should give you enough slack to allow it to slip over the edge of the other edge of the rim. Another thing you want to do is make sure you spray everything down. In my case, I'm using some very soapy water. It's got extra detergent in it. You don't want to spray too much into your wheel, into the tire. So I'm going to use some rim protectors here. Put those in place. I also have a couple of small tire irons. So let's see how it works. You can't take too much of a bite. You got to start off little. And you got to hold it down. Well, there it is. It was a bit of a pain. The rim shields kind of got in the way. I actually didn't use it on part of the wheel, but I don't think I did any damage at all. But anyway, one side is on now. Now for the other side. So again, it's key to get the bead of the tire into the center section of the rim. So I'm going to put on my rim shields. And I'm just going to try to start working my way around it with these little tire tools. You got to climb up on top of it. You got to hold it down as you go, and let you see what happens here. So I got this side started. You need about 4 hands to do this. I'm just trying to work the rim shields around so I don't mess up my rim. And you gotta kind of just do it a little at a time. You can kind of see how this side of the tire is pulling down into the center of the wheel. Like I said, you got to have about 4 hands to do this. You can't take too big a bite, that's for sure. But I think we got it going. Yeah, we're getting there. these tire tools I'm using are just cheap Harbor Freight jobs. Okay, I can't get the rim shield in on this last bite, so I'm just going to take my chances, try to delicately do this, and there it is. One thing I had to do was remove the belt drive pulley off of this side. The problem was you couldn't get the tire tools flat enough to get between the tire and the wheel with all that in the way there. So I did have to remove that. So let's flip it over. All right, I got the valve stem back in. I'm gonna get the air compressor running. I'll be right back. Okay, the compressor has got up to pressure now. Before I put some air in, I'm gonna kind of spray around the bead again, just to make sure it can slip on easy. I don't want it trying to hold up anywhere. So I'm gonna make sure it's still good and slick around the rim here. All right, according to the Harley Davidson service manual for this tire and this motorcycle, it's 38 pounds. So I'm gonna start off kind of slow and let the thing kind of pop onto the wheel. And I don't have a seal. So what I'm going to do is kind of bounce it so that it will already set on the tire, on the wheel. So let's see if that seated it or not. If it didn't, I'll take a little bit more drastic measures here. Nope. So I'm going to remove the valve stem core and see if I can squirt a lot of air in there to get this thing to seat. Nope. Maybe if I stand it up. Okay, I can't get it to seat against the rim good enough to get the air in it. So what I'm going to do is take a ratchet strap, put around the middle section of the tire, and I'm going to ratchet that down a little bit, and that usually makes the tire expand enough to get against the rim. Well, I finally got it aired up to the recommended 38 PSI. Next, I'm going to check the balance of it and see how that looks. Stay tuned. Okay, now that I have it mounted on the wheel and properly inflated, I'm going to check the balance of it. There were no weights on this thing from the factory, but I'm going to check it anyways. And the way I do that is I took the factory axle, mounted it in a vise carefully where I'm not to scar the axle, slide the tire up on it. I'm going to spin it a couple times to see if it stops it anywhere consistently. Okay, I'm not seeing that it settles out anywhere consistently, so I'm going to assume this thing to be balanced enough for me. Also, something else I think I want to do while I have it sitting here is I'm going to check and make sure this tire looks like it's pretty round now it's mounted onto the rim. So what I've done, I've just set up a little fixture here very close to the tire. As I spin this, I can see how out of round it is. And I've got to tell you, this thing is pretty close. So with that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the bearings out and check those. And then I'm going to get this thing mounted back on the bike. And so for now, I guess that'll do it.